Hello, it's Amory. For my ISM paper, I decided to choose the topic of hearing impaired students. My presentation is titled Cultivating Success for Hearing Impaired Students. So the question I decided to focus on was, why do teachers have lower expectations for students with hearing impairments? The rationale for the question I chose was based on my personal experience. When I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with a hearing loss, and I have had teachers who have had lower expectations for me. And quite honestly, it's not the most enjoyable thing, and I want to do better as a teacher. I also fear that because of my personal experience, I may tend to assume I know more than I do because I may tend to ignore it or do something. So I wanted to choose this question just to be able to make sure that I'm even more aware and more educated and can translate this into my students. So what is hearing impairment? According to the CDC, a hearing loss is when part of the ear, including the inner ear, the middle ear, the outer ear, the acoustic nerve, or auditory system, is not working correctly. Hearing loss can range from mild to severe, mild being hearing most speech but not all, and then severe being hearing very little speech and just sound. And it can happen in one or both ears. Also, hearing loss can occur at birth or later on, and it may be due to an injury or a high fever or illness of another kind, etc. So more about hearing impairments. People with hearing impairments may be able to help their hearing by wearing hearing aids, having a cochlear implant, which is something that you need to get surgically, or having surgery to fix the structure of the ear. Something that you may see people with hearing impairment do is read lips, which I can tell you has been interesting during the time of COVID, as it's something I tend to do, sign language, or use communication devices. One giant aspect of hearing impairment, especially with students at a young age, is parent involvement. Parents have questions and parents want support. And parents are honestly going to go through their own stages of grief with this. In one article I found, it talked about how mothers were impacted by their children going through this, and the impact of it on them transcended into the way they responded to their child. So working with parents is a great way to help make sure the students in your classroom have all the needs met. Students who have hearing impairments may need assistance with speech as well, but not all students who have trouble with hearing are going to need assistance with speech. Because the speech mechanisms include your breath, the stress of it, the nasal, voice, the pitch, articulation, and intonation. Students with hearing impairments can all have struggles with these, and therefore making speech difficult. And one case study I read, well, I should say more than one, but this one I'm talking about in particular, noticed that those who had earlier intervention for their hearing impairment had a greater score in speech later on in life. So the earlier we can notice these things, the easier it will be for our students to get help with these things. Tools for teacher success. While students with hearing impairments may need a lot of extra tools to succeed, teachers should advocate for their students and provide them with equal educational opportunities and not lower their expectations. We can use our tools to help our students, but not to hurt them. Teachers have the power to make sure that students feel accepted and are given the tools they need to be equal to their peers, but also make sure that they're being challenged in the way that they should. Because teachers should hold the same expectation for all students.